much better. I think this is a good start. All right.
But still not good enough.
I know, but we're going to keep the momentum. Let's see now, because we're going to test them right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to tell them something?
So, one of the things that we always do at the very end, which we decided that we should do at the very beginning, is to really appreciate the reason why you're here. So, in order for us to do that, it's not us who are the curators or creators of these events. We're just trying to help you feel at home and guide you through the program. Ask us any questions, but the real creators, the architects of these events, usually go unnoticed. They're the ones who have emailed you, you know their emails, sometimes you don't match the emails with names, and sometimes you don't even meet the whole crew. So this, maybe we should do the traditional, after this, every time we start any event, we have to do this way. We're going to make you a little bit uncomfortable during this 4 days journey.
Hopefully.
We will tell you to do things, and we will ask your cooperation. Your voluntary cooperation or your enforced cooperation. But one way or another, please do what we say. So to start the day, and to start the whole 4 days journey, which some of you will find years after, oh, this is actually where it had started. This is actually where I had met my investor. This is actually where I had landed to my first customer. This is the 4-day setting. So for us to start this, we need to appreciate the creators and the architects of these events. So I want you to, when I say please stand up and start cheering as high as you can. So everybody in this small shopping mall can hear what the hell is going on.
Exactly, we need to make noise and attract more.
If the security doesn't come in and says us to quiet
then we haven't done a good job.
Right.
Exactly, so let's do that. Let's get into it.
I want you to welcome with all your heart, all your gust and enthusiasm, the creators, the architects, the people who create the whole accelerator program and mentorship program, the conference, Burak Aslaneli. So stand up and give them a big round of applause.
So welcome to...
Well done.
Welcome to Startup Istanbul. We are very excited to see all of you in Istanbul. And this is not a kind of conference, this is a kind of process. We are very happy to meet you all face to face, and we will be not losing contact after the conference, and we will be always be in contact with you. So welcome to Istanbul. I know some of you have been first time in Istanbul, so enjoy Istanbul, not only mentoring and speaking sessions, get also great time at nights and other times of the day in Istanbul as well. So we are very excited to host you here. Again, I would love to give the word to Ozan and Amal again. So,
I was too short.
Yeah.
I mean,
Too short.
that's enough.
All right.
Thank you so much.
bad.
Thanks
Thank
a lot
you.
for all of you. Thank you. All right, so I think we need you to get to know each other a little bit more, if you don't mind. So we're going to start the day by asking all of you to stand up again. We're going to keep on making you stand up and sit down, if you don't mind. So let's stand, all of us. All right?
So here's how the mechanics will work.
Okay.
So this is the first row. So the first row, please turn your backs. Thank you. This is the second one. You stay there. Third row, turn your backs. Smart, good. You stay there. Fifth, turn your backs. I might mess up the numbers, but you don't. So, okay, this is nice. Turn your backs, please. All right, nice. This row, go back. Nice. If you're in the middle, go find a seat. Find somebody else. Wait.
See, they know the drill.
That's okay.
Okay. need a hand mic.
Ne haber? Biz bir el mikrofonu alabilir miyiz arkadaşlar? Tamam, okey. Heh.
Ay tremble. Shall we?
Want to do the clap? So,
Really hard.
huh?
We need the bell. All right, let's start. Can you help us? Yeah. That's it. All right, have a seat, please. Thank you. Okay, well done. Have a seat. Good job meeting each other. Well done.
Oh, yeah, I think we should do the clapping again so people.
Okay,
Ah,
everybody.
that works. All right.
How was that? Okay? How many people have you met? One? Two. Well done. You've done
Good
two.
job.
Anyone did three? Three in the
Good
back.
job.
Any more? Five. Well done. Okay, we'll stop here. All right, so do you want to know what they asked? So I'm very curious, in a 1 minute or in a minute and a half, how much information can you get from a person, right? So we asked you to stand and just meet anybody and ask whatever you want. There were no rules, and you were free to say whatever you want. So, may I ask you, what have you asked, what have you learned, and whom did you meet?
So I met Mohammed.
Muhammad, very good. He remembers the name. See, that's
Good
a
job.
good start.
That's
Well
number
done.
one.
Okay.
So he's Lebanese, based in Kuwait.
Okay.
They have a social e-commerce platform,
Okay.
and they're kicking it off very soon.
So what do you think of their platform? What does it do? What problem does it solve?
In the time we discussed, we didn't have enough time to
Okay.
to
Not
go into
really.
details.
Fair enough.
So, well done. How about that? That was, I think,
that's
was a
pretty
very good one. How about you, Muhammad?
Yes.
So what did you tell? Why didn't you tell him about the problem?
We didn't reach that point yet, but we knew that his name is Mader. He's from
Okay.
Morocco,
Okay.
and he's undergoing the development of an artificial intelligence machine, the drones, and he's been working on it for 2 years,
All right.
and he's selling it in the market in Africa.
Good.
Yes.
Very interesting. I think that was quite explicit and it was good. Any idea about what these drones are going to do? It sounds quite techy and sophisticated, but what does
Exactly.
it do?
We didn't get into this. This is too technical for me.
Okay. All right. Okay. So.
I'm an e-commerce guy. What about drones?
Exactly. He does something. It's drones. It's cool, right? So how about here? Did anyone get to a point where they figured out much more than the name and then the name of the startup and the initial stage? Anyone figured out what problem the other person is doing?
Really?
Not one person?
Maybe. Yes.
All right. Great.
Here, my friend, he is the best startup in Nigeria helping schools with their school management software. So I'd like to meet him.
Okay. So what's the problem with the schools?
I think the management is quite complex in the schools, isn't that so? Yeah.
He's going to help
No,
you.
you
with
don't
that.
pitch my startup. I
Going
pitch
to
my
help you.
startup.
That's the pitch, right? All right, let's get one more and then we'll get to this. Who likes the mic? Everybody's looking away. I like this moment. Like everybody's like, doing that. Please don't
No
talk to us.
schooling, no
Please
schooling.
don't talk to us. And you're going to be the guy because, you are so looking forward to it.
Avoiding
So who
eye
did you
contact
meet?
is not the point.
Hi. Whom did you meet?
I met Sergio from
Sergio.
from Romania,
Okay.
and they are doing the startups. The name is iBlocks,
Okay.
and this is an IoT device,
Uh-huh.
and you can program it with just only drag and drop using the web interface.
Okay. And what's going to happen when that actually cool thing,
And
goes on?
that only was.
That's
We
it.
have no idea
All
why.
right, but it does something cool. There is a drag and there is a
IoT at least.
IoT. All right, so we know you're in IoT. Was that good enough, Ozan? What do you think?
That's terrible.
Yeah? That's how
figure
it
this out.
starts. That's how it starts. So,
Yeah, exactly. So here is a small guidance for all of you. And we're doing it at the very, very, very beginning of the conference. Because if you get this right throughout the conference and throughout your startup journey, this is going to help you in the very long term, not only in the conference, but also going forward. In a minute conversation, you do not have the whole time to talk about your previous experience, your wonderful technology. There are 3 things, and if you communicate these well, you will be ahead of many of the startups. Not ahead of the startups that we have trained so far, because they've been doing this for a while, but you'll be ahead of many startups who did not get this small favor. First, only state your name, your own name. Do not complicate. I know your surnames are very important. Family heritage, I respect that, but do not complicate the conversation, especially for non-native speakers. This is very difficult. Just your name is enough. And if you have a nickname, maybe that's even better. Your name and the name of your startup very, very, very clearly. Because if I ask you, if I see you down the corridor tomorrow, if I don't know your name, if I don't know the startup's name, I cannot make an introduction to somebody next to you. Oh, I seen this guy who was doing some IoT, but waving doesn't work. So you need to communicate your name and the name of your startup very clearly. The next thing is very important, and we'll get to the details of it. You need to make us understand why you are important. The best way to do it is through storytelling, but the storytelling through the customer's perspective. If within that experience, and Amal will go into details with that, if within the first 20 seconds you can communicate to us a problem of your customer, then I will understand much better why I should pay attention. Because you're telling me I am going to solve the problem of this people or this customer segment because they're going through this problem, this problem, this problem. My solution, your technology is not important. So how many of you are engineers? This is going to be a very painful conference for you guys. Sorry about that. You're not going to have Wi-Fi. You're not going to have your laptops. There's no engineering to be done. If you are here to build a product, go away. I have to repeat this. If you are here to build a product, go away. If you are here to build a company, then stay. Your job is not to build a product. Your job is to build a company. This is not an engineering competition. So you have to forget everything about your fabulous platform that works on multiple things and then IoTs here and that nobody gives anything to that. I am very modest this time. I usually put a dot, but the editing gets real difficult after this. So nobody really cares about your technology. What people care about is what your technology is going to give me as a solution. If you get these 2-3 things right, then I would really encourage you to talk about how big is your market. You may not know, and we'll do a small exercise, and probably half of the room has no idea how big their market size is. But if you give me a size of the problem, because I may not be familiar with the size of the problem, then you'll get my attention as an investor. By the way, as we always do, what did we forget?
What did we forget?
Who are you?
Oh, my name is Amal, by the way.
We always do that.
And this is Ozan.
What do you do?
Very good, an introduction. Okay, so I'm the director of Babson Global for Entrepreneurial Leadership. It's an office that has been established recently in Saudi Arabia. It's coming from Babson College in Boston. My experience, and previously I used to work at King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, and I worked with a lot of engineers and a lot of scientists and a lot of researchers. And that's why I think, part of what we're going to do today is basically convey that experience. And we have seen a lot of success stories. We have seen others that have spent a very long time building stuff, and then they lost track. So we're going to tell you all about this. My whole life is about startups and corporate innovation. We work with a lot of companies towards bringing them back to why did they exist in the first place. What is it that they are really doing, and why companies are not able to innovate and sustain, and why do we have a lot of large organizations losing people today, laying them over, right? And then even not knowing why their products are not being successful. So it's a fun job, very exciting. I get to meet amazing people like yourselves, and I learn from you as well. And that's why I think my job is so much fun. So how about you? Who are you? Thank you so much.
So my name is Ozan. I'm the managing director of a small microfund in Turkey and an accelerator program in San Francisco. I have recently moved, recently means a year ago, recently moved to San Francisco from King Abdullah University of Science and Technology. We work together, we build accelerator programs together for the last 3 years. Before that, I was an impact investor, so I'm also very strong on the social impact entrepreneurs, if there are any. My background enabled me to get very deep with the founders on their financial models, on their projections, and I am pretty much brutally honest. So if you see my LinkedIn profile, there are startups who said, he was really hard on us, but then it helped us along the long way. So when I see you during this next 3-4 days, if I'm really hard on you, asking really very basic questions and you don't have really good, concise answers, I'll be very honest with you. But do not think that I'm doing it to be mean to you. I'm trying to make you, this is a friendly environment. Friendly fire can kill, but it's usually harms, not kills.
Don't try.
Yeah.
They're going to hate you anyway.
So you can't BS your way out of my mentorship. You have to be very focused. But my job is now to find startups from emerging markets and then help them to understand the US market and help them get established in San Francisco, attend to some of the programs we are running, B2B or B2C programs. If you're post-product, post-revenue, you can come find me and we can see if the programs fit you. And we also have a very small investment fund, so I do some of the due diligence of some startups. I have a technology focus, so if you're doing something based on drones, robotics, IP focus, even mobile apps, that's perfectly fine. I'll be happy to help you. I'm also building my own startup, which tries to help you in the long term by helping you practice your pitch, but we'll come to that later.
Okay.
So the famous 6 are the stories.
Yeah.
All right.
So just to recap on what happened here about asking you to meet other people, right? One of the most important things that you need to understand that you're not just entrepreneurs, you're not just business people over here. You need to think like innovators, right? Business as we know it has changed a lot. Everything around the world has changed, and our aspirations can no longer be built only on local needs, right? Today we're looking at the world, today we're looking at how far can we go. We can test where we are, but we want to see how we go. There's a study that has been done recently, and there's something that we do in some of the workshops. It's actually a study that has been done over a lot of innovators around the world, like Steve Jobs, Branson, Richard Branson, and so many of these people. And they were thinking, how did these people reach what they have reached? How come they are the people whom they are today? Were they just lucky, right? And even if they were lucky at the beginning, how did they maintain it? So what they did, they studied the lives of these people. What do they do since they wake up in the morning? What do they do in the afternoon? What happens, throughout the week? And they summed it up. And they reached down to 5 traits that these people possess. I'm not going to tell you about all of them. We can talk about that later. But I can tell you one of the most important traits is networking. This is something, it's a skill that is really underutilized. And when I say networking, most of the business opportunities that happens around the world, you think that you're sitting and working on your product, developing and coding and attending, workshops and all of that. But the real businesses happens when you meet other people. It could be random, it could be accidental, and most of the time it's something that you haven't planned. The best opportunities comes by meeting people that you do not really know much about, right? Or they come to you because they have seen you in such an event. We've heard stories about a lot of entrepreneurs that have made it and they have reached the right investors, the right co-founders, or the right opportunities just by being in the right place and by reaching out. I don't think that we are reaching out enough. There's nothing wrong about going to a person and introducing yourself and seeing where it's going to go. And the pitching that we do over here is just to prep you for that moment. Just to have you to be looking as exciting as you can be and not to lose interest of that person. It's so bad when people get bored. You think that 1 minute is too short. It's not. It's not. 1 minute can get too long if the story is boring and if you're getting too technical. And most of the investors say, I really don't care about the technology. I'll ask about this later, but tell me the problem that you're solving. And when I say a problem, sometimes, some of the entrepreneurs say, oh, there is no problem. This is a completely new market. Have you ever heard that before? It's a revolutionary, kind of technology, There is no problem for that. I'm just coming up, with something that is completely new. That's not right. There is always a gap in the market, a challenge, something that exists, but it's not fulfilling the task that it's doing. You have to tell us that. What is not working today? And I'm going to share a very small story with you, and then we'll hand it over to you to pitch to us, just to look more deeper into the problem definition. So I did a course in Stanford 3 years ago, and they told us a story that I always remember and I always tell, in some of the workshops. And the story goes, this is a group of master's students, MBA students, they're business students. They are no engineers. They're not doctors. They have no technical capacities whatsoever. They put them in a room. They met each other for the first time in that room, and they gave them a problem. The problem was that there is a high mortality rate of premature babies around the world. Babies that are born before their time around the world in remote areas, they're dying. Can you estimate how many of them die every year? How many babies die just because they are born before their time? 1,000? A million. It's over a million. You're right. It's about 1 million to 2 million, actually. It ranges between every year. Do you think this is a problem that's big enough and it's worth solving? It is. It is a problem that is worth that somebody would look at and see why babies are dying. Okay, how about here? Let's look at our lives. Today, if a baby is born basically at 6 months or 7 months prematurely, what do? They are in the hospital, the baby is born, then what do they do to them? What is the existing solution for that? An incubator, exactly. So incubators is the current solution for that. Do they ask the mother's permission in the hospital? Would you mind if we save your child's life by putting, this is gonna help? No, not really. So this is kind of a direct thing. They just go ahead and they put them there. So why babies are dying in these remote areas then, if the solution exists? Maybe they don't have the money. Other reasons.
Quality varies from country to country.
Maybe the quality varies.
It's certainly the mother is not there enough.
The mother is not there enough. That could be another reason. I think there's a lot of reasons. We can go into immediate reasons and we can go into deeper, kind of thing. So what they did, the first thing they asked them to do in order to understand the why, and remember these students are in US, what do they need to do? The first thing, just to get to the bottom of this. Research. Where? Online?
In the countries where it's maybe
I have to go to the country, right? In order to understand. Secondary data does not work here. So they actually sent them to Nepal. That was one of the countries that actually had very high rates there. They spent 2 weeks. What did they do in those 2 weeks? They spoke to people over there. They sat and they observed. They went and they saw pregnant mothers, you know, that are close to delivery, and they saw all of the circumstances that surrounds this. They spoke to a general culture. They understand the whole scene. And not that they went and they asked people, do you need an incubator? Right? People would always go when they're asking questions, and this is the customer discovery, you know, do you need this amazing product? Of course the person will tell you, I want to save my daughter, or I want to save my child. That is not the way to know it, right? So we have to be, we say psychologists and anthropologists sometimes, and we try to dig deeper in why things are happening. What did they learn, in your view? I'll tell you a very shocking thing that they figured out. So they found out that there is a medical center that is equipped with incubators. So incubators do exist. They don't need to pay. This is sponsored by global organizations that are doing this for good. There's also people over there that are supporting them and helping them to show them why this is used. They go and reach out to them. So what is the problem? I'm going to ask you here the other way around. Why these babies die? Why do they die? So let me take it one step, you know, down over here. So a baby, when they're born, and they're born before their time, what is the reason of death? Go deeper. Yes, exactly. So their temperature, what does that mean? Their temperature drops really quickly, so they get cold. The problem with babies, they don't have enough fat on their skin. So what happens when they're exposed, they're out in the world, the temperature really drops so fast, so in less than 4 hours, if the baby does not receive any medical assistance, they actually die, all right? So what do you need to do in order to solve the problem? Keep them warm. Did we touch on any technology? Did we say anything about, you know, what the solution will look like, or nothing? We need to know what is it that we need to do, and we call this the jobs to be done. What is the job to be done by the customer? What are we trying to achieve? So the main problem, high death rate. That is my problem, right? Why is it happening? Now we know why. Because, you know, of all of the reasons. Babies are actually, you know, born, and then they actually suffer from, you know, hypothermia, and then after that, the main reason, they're not getting the right warmth, all right? Okay, incubators do exist. What do? It is there. So what do I do? So you need experienced staff, basically, to do it. So there is experienced staff. The main problem over here, and that's what I want to draw your attention, all of it, when you're designing anything. The main problem, the solution was there. The people were there. But the main issue, people were resisting to put their babies there. So there was a deeper problem. There was a bigger issue here, and it was a cultural issue. It was something related to their traditions. It was something related to their beliefs. They believed that when a baby is born, the baby needs to stay and to be put, you know, on the chest of a mother. Otherwise, they think that something bad will happen to the baby. Whatever it is, it's just a belief. So the mother would actually, or could, you know, not put her baby there because she thinks that this is what she should do. This is how she grew up. This is how her mother actually showed her, right? They will never separate the baby away from them. So by asking you the problem at the very beginning, 5 minutes ago, did you know that this is the main issue? This is the main issue. Sometimes we ask about the solution and people say, all right, we will teach them, we will educate them. Well, teaching and educating takes time. So by the time we educate a culture, we change people's beliefs, many babies would have died. So we haven't solved the problem. And here we talk about designing a solution for the customer, where the customer does not even need to think that he has to do any effort in order to use it. And this is where a company called Embrace, Google it, there's a very interesting TED Talk basically about that. So they created a blanket that looks like a sleeping bag, right? So the mother will still put her baby inside, will still hold the baby the way she wanted, and it was padded by wax. And the wax gets heated to reach until 37 degrees. So there is a battery associated to it. So all what the mother has to do, put the baby, click the buttons, and then voila, 37 degrees, and the baby will be fine, at least in the initial stages. What do we need to do before we launch the company? Understand the whole system. So let's say now I have the prototype, right? What do I need to do with the prototype?
You need to try.
I need to try it.
You need to ask many questions
Yep.
before you implement anything.
Exactly.
You need,
So I need to try it and understand all and observe and all of
because
that.
there is one thing Meadows said in her book in 2008
Yeah.
that you need to dance with the system. That means you need to understand the whole thing before you do anything.
You are right. I like this dancing with the system, you know. Sounds very interesting. I'm going to use that, you know. So what they did, they said if we tested this in the States, it's not going to be the same if we tested it in the place. So you have to test in the place where you're going to start your pilot. So they went there, they tested it, and what happens? So the mothers basically put the babies, they agreed, everything goes well, and they click, and they stop at 30 or 33, and they refuse to go to 37. Because they were afraid of something, right? So when they asked and they understood the reasons behind this, they found out that, you know, when something comes from US, this culture considered it like it's too strong or it's too much for them. So if a doctor prescribed a cough syrup and he says take 10 milliliters, they will automatically reduce it to 5 milliliters. So they applied the same type of thinking on that product. And if that happened, they would have actually killed the baby again. So that's the power of testing. And what the designers did here, and that's what I say, design for customers, design for people, they eliminated all of that. So what they did, they removed the numbers, and they put a happy face. So I, as a customer, no longer have to deal with that intellectual barrier, with thinking, with going through all of, they eliminated all of this, and they put a very simple solution. So my question to you, are you really thinking of your customers in that deep manner? Or you're too consumed? I like that smile. I trend, you know, very good branding. So are you really reaching out to them? Are you understanding that? And by the way, this is not done only at the beginning. This is throughout the growth of the company that never stops. And that's why we have large organizations today that lost track. Because they stopped looking at customers, they got too consumed with their culture, with their bureaucracy, with the systems, with processes. And that's the beautiful position that you are at today, not to get carried away with regulations and rules that you don't have. So don't create them for yourselves. You're free at the stage, so keep that freedom and reach out to customers. And if you see today, all around the world, everybody's speaking about innovation, design thinking, and all of that. Why? All of that to bring back the people to the customers. So how do we go back thinking about this? So the reason I told you this, I want you to think now for a second. What is the problem that I'm solving? What is the solution that I'm creating? And think of the jobs to be done. What is the customer trying to get done? This is your solution to the problem, right? And then after that, who's the customer that you're serving? Right? So what we're going to do now, we're going to choose 6 startups, right? We're going to have you here on the stage. We're going to ask you to do something. But think of those points that I told you. Problem, solution, customers, just for the time being, right?
I can fit it up. So in order to choose 6 startups, let's see who traveled the farthest to get to Istanbul. How many? West Indies.
10,000 kilometers. Let's go.
All right, that's number 1. All right. Come on stage. So that's number 1. Okay, volunteers accepted. Here you go. Welcome.
By the way,
That's number 2.
use these chances. It's good to be on stage today.
Number
right?
3. Number 4.
This is a safe room.
We need 2 more female entrepreneurs.
In the back, please.
Okay,
How many do we have? Are we good?
We need 1 more female entrepreneur.
Corner?
Okay, I mean,
It's fine. We'll try.
It's fine. So
1, 2, 3,
this
4,
is going to be a little different.
I'm gonna get
and
you
as
later.
we told you before, we mean no harm. We really don't mean any harm to you. Not at all.
I'm
So-
a gentleman, I let her start.
Well, first we see who can fall from the farthest. Let's get you on. No, on the chair. No,
Okay.
No, up.
No, you stand.
Stand up.
On the chair?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's good you're wearing
Okay,
flats. Actually,
good. Be
today.
careful. All right, nice.
Ready?
So
Yeah, for
the
sure.
6 of you, the rest 5, please pay attention. Just hinting. You have 1 minute that starts on 30
Okay.
to talk about your startup.
Can you please?
You ready?
Thank you.
Go.
Okay, merhaba, my name is Denis. I'm from France, French West Indies. And actually, the problem I want to solve is that when you are traveling now, people want to have different experiences and not only the Lonely Planets one. So I'm creating an application for mobile where ambassadors can take a picture of some place they know and put it on a map. After that, some visitors can see the pictures, say, okay, I want to discover this place, and it's on the GPS so they can go to this place. I give you an example. If you go to Paris, you want to make a selfie at the Eiffel Tower, you will see all the crowd because everybody is doing the same. But Eiffel Tower is so big that you cannot film or shoot all the Eiffel Tower except if you're doing this, which is not kind of nice. If you are going to Champ de Mars 100 meters away, you can shoot everything. You have the project.
All right. Here we go. You're welcome. So, Mohammed, come on stage.
I'm not good in balance.
No worries, I'll be. Last year we broke a table, but this year. So, you thought it's going to be like this, right? Everybody will go on the chair and then we'll pitch their ideas. So, your startup, Payful, did not succeed. And 6 months from now, you close shop. But, lucky for you, you have met Dennis, who is doing Güzel. Name of the company? Yeah. Nice. So, and you recently heard Dennis, which is now your co-founder, and we want you to pitch what Güzel is. Okay. You'll start when it's 20 and you'll have 1 minute.
Okay, I'm Mohammed, co-founder of Güzel. Güzel and a mobile application can help all of you guys when you got to travel and yeah, if you want to discover places which is the most beautiful thing when you go and travel, so our application can help you to take selfie easily and yeah, be happy in your travel.
You have a slogan now, you know.
All right. Thank you. Let's have you. You don't need to stand up if you don't feel comfortable. We learned our lesson. Your startup. When the timer hits 30, you can start.
Okay. Hi, my name is Noor, and I am happy to introduce you to Mommy Helper today. Arabic mothers feel an abnormally high of major depressive and depression compared to the others in the world. And there's a research says that 9 of 10 children, they are spanking from their mothers in the Arabic world, and this is really a serious problem. Mothers' depression all the time, cannot deal with the baby, with the children, and on the other hand, they cannot go to the psychology therapist because of the culture. So Mommy Helper provide easy, convenient solution to them, easy access to professional. Just in 5 steps, any mother can change her life with Mommy Helper. Identify your problem, schedule the appointment with the fit consultant, and here you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So one thing that is very critical is to be resourceful. When you have a minute and you have finished what you need to say and you still have 10 seconds, you still have 10 seconds. So do not say, okay, thank you, yalla. Because you still have 10 seconds, which is equal to like you have some money you can spend on online marketing, but you go like, you know what, I'll spend it later. If you have resources, use it. So now we'll hear from your co-founder, Faiz. All right. Yes, go Faiz. You're now the co-founder of which company? Shh. Mommy Helper.
Mommy Helper.
Good.
Hello, I'm Faiz, the co-founder of Mommy Helper. It's really important for mothers to be able to take good care of their babies. And with our solution, we have been able to connect mothers with the right consultants to be able to give them the freedom and comfort to take good care of their babies. And we have now over 1,000 baby mothers connected to the consultants, and we have been growing across Saudi Arabia, and we have raised more than 10 million. We have raised more than 10 million Saudi riyals, and we are looking to expand across Asia, and we are happy to invite you to join this important solution. Thank you very much.
Good.
Well done.
Perfect. So, this is recruitment on stage. So, good, you did well. Come. Your thing will not work. All right. Let's go. Yes.
Well done.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Kaurian from Your Tutor. Learning is important. Everybody's taking lessons. Online learning also is improving. The problem here, not only but Istanbul, is the commute, and that's why there are a lot of platforms which offer online learning, mainly using Skype. But Skype is not designed for teaching, and because of that, still 95% of the learning is happening offline, the tutoring. We have designed a virtual classroom, which pretty much with the tools give you the same experience as offline, so people can save from commute and also can, from the small villages, can have access to the best places through building a marketplace. We also combine this with the content model and LMS, and all this together creates a virtual school. And from technical point of view, tomorrow I can shut down Bosphorus University because there's no need for the physical assets in terms of benefits to the education.
Okay, thank you. The name? Boriana.
Hi, my name is Boriana, and I'm the co-founder of Commute, the company which is lesson. Is it?
Your tutor.
Your tutor. Sorry. I can see.
No. Recruit.
Anyways, so this is a company that will expand the online growing. We are going to provide you with courses online and offline probably. We are going to create something much better than Skype, and we can have different courses, different virtual rooms where everybody can log in and just get the tuition or the course that they need. We are expanding globally. Please invest in us. Everything that we have, you're going to double if you help us. That's all. Thank you.
So this was a typical scenario. You're smart. We all know that. So when I give you a minute time frame, you still try to squeeze your 3-minute pitch into the 1 minute that I gave you. Because I gave you a minute, so you try to stay within the boundaries I gave you. But that does not mean speaking faster and squeezing your 3-minute pitch into a minute helps you. How many of you know how your tutor makes money? What does your tutor do? Digital advertisement. I think they are a software as a platform, like software as a service platform. Subscription basis. I think they do IP licensing. How many of you think they do IP licensing? No one? How many of you think they will have somebody interested in the product? No one? Maybe one. Who do you think your customer is? Yeah.
All the people who takes tutoring classes offline.
All the people who take tutoring classes offline. Age?
Adults and students. Adults and students.
Adults and students. No age difference.
We provide the tool, like WebEx.
Okay. Do you know what they do? Can you guess? Like there's WebEx, there's Skype, so things you can relate. You're a technical guy, right? No. But you're trained to talk, especially on these technical things which nobody can understand. What's the real problem you're solving?
The real problem is that you don't have to travel 1 hour from the Asian side to Lebanon to take your
Okay. So traveling takes time when you're enrolled into schools.
English classes.
To take English classes and other classes. And you are a working professional, you don't have the time to do it. In order for you to save time, we give you online video tools. I still have no idea. Which is normal, because it usually takes a lot of time to refine it to get to under 1 minute. But we will try to guide you to get it done in the short amount of time that we have. Especially one little thing for you. By the way, thank you so much. I mean,
You've done great. Thank
You've
you.
done great.
Thank
Well
you
done.
so much.
Can I ask you for 1 second?
Huh?
If I can ask you for 1
Sure.
second?
1 second. Done.
As I'm doing an application with all the best place, I think it's the best place for startup is in Istanbul.
Yes.
So can we make a picture together?
Selfie, nice. Selfie mania. I'm too old for selfies.
But with all of you.
All right. Should they stand up? Should they sit?
Yeah, please.
Let's get this 1 second. That takes 10 seconds.
Okay. Cheers. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Ben teşekkür ederim. So, one thing that we want you to focus in the mentorship sessions that will start is to use your ears and your mouth in the proportion that they're given to you. Which means you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. In the mentorship sessions, your job is to listen twice as much as you speak. Do not fight with the mentors. Do not convince them that this is really nice. Because if they tell you this is bullshit, it may probably be bullshit. But may not be. You may be right. That's okay. But listen. Do not argue with them. Do not try to convince them. They are mentors for a reason. So listen to them more than you speak. Ask them direct questions about their challenges. Don't just say, what do you think? I mean what do you think about what? This is a whole new business. Please be very, very thoughtful on the time you're going to get from the mentors. And speak less, listen more.
And the other thing, not everything that all the mentors have to tell you means you have to do. You're going to hear actually conflicting views from the mentors. You have to know that. So you're going to get out from hearing something and then you go, why did the other one, he told me to do this, right? It's your call and it's your baby at the end of the day. The job of the mentors is to bring you experiences from their own world, what they have seen, the best practices, the best trends. They have seen startups that have done this and that. I think you want to hear as many stories as you want from them and their views and ask a lot of questions. And if you think that there is something or some connection between you and the mentor, ask for a contact directly, right? And ask if you can call them back and extend the relationship. Not every mentor will be the right one for you, right? And each mentor has an area of expertise. So they don't all collectively know everyone or everything. Some of them will be highly technical, will be quite useful. Some of them have a very good network, right? And can connect you to a lot of people. Just remember, we have 3 minutes to go, I think, before we wrap up the session. I want to remind you again, with the fact that, most of the pitches that we've heard, they're quite amusing. I actually enjoyed it. And some of them have hit, the right chords. But it will take practice. And telling your story right is crucial. And when we say story, it doesn't mean that once upon a time this and this happened. Sometimes actually startups do that. They tell a very detailed story. That's not what I'm saying. Your whole pitch has to flow like a story to the ears of the people. It has to be exciting. Laying out the problem, that's the first attention. Show me how big it is. Numbers? Maybe it's numbers. Facts? Give the facts. Think really clearly. What is the problems that you're going to state? Then your solution. The other thing that I didn't hear from any of the pitches is the job to be done. What is the customer trying to achieve? It's not the product. What am I trying to get by acquiring this product or by buying the service or by being here? So you are customers to start up Istanbul. What is the job you're trying to get done by being here? Find an investment. That's a job to be done. Well done. You're trying to find an investment, right? Why?
Because we need it.
Why do you need it? To settle and launch. And why do you want to launch your startup? Because you believe in it. And then what's going to happen? Maybe you'll be a millionaire after that, right? Well. So, change lives. Maybe, right? And the reason I'm asking you those why and why and why, that's your deeper inner motive. The investor is not the job to be done. It's your way, your bridge, actually, to get to your dreams, right? You need to dig that deep for your questions, you know, and when you talk to people, to understand what is the job you're trying to get done. Each one of you here, I have a job to be done. You try to figure it out later, but I have a job to be done. For me, learning and getting the exposure to as many startups like you, with all of the events I've attended, is giving me experience so I can train other startups as well, right? So there's a wealth of experience that I'm getting. So all of you focus on those. Use the best, I think, of these days as much as possible. Meet as many customers as you can get, because your customers could be in this room. Don't hesitate of reaching out, and I think, you know, our mentorship sessions are going to start at now, actually.
Yes.
All right,
So only those startups who have given the slot of 10 a.m., which will start at 10:10 in like 3 minutes, you can move to the next room, right on the other side. Only those startups who have the session that starts at 10 a.m. in your calendars. You can go to your designated tables, and your sessions, your mentorship sessions will start at 10:10. And while you do that, whoever has been designated that slot, I will be, nobody's moving. Why is nobody moving? So, they're already there. Okay, it's like, oh, wait a second. Somebody has to be going up. Anyways, those who do not have that session, do not get crowded, because the mentorship sessions are already loud. So don't stay out and make noise. Stay in and listen and learn from experts, like my good friend Aslı, who had been in Endeavor for the last 8 years. For the last 8 years. And she'll talk about what Endeavor is. But Endeavor and the Global Entrepreneurship Week is one of the reasons I'm currently standing here. Because 7 years ago, when they first launched the Global Entrepreneurship Week in Turkey, I was one of the few people that engaged with the whole community, and now the whole community is like 200 people. Back then it was like only 20 people. And she's going to talk about how to raise funds, and I'm sure most of you will be very interested in this, how to raise funds from Silicon Valley. So much like we did with Burak, Aslı, and Elif, please give your best to welcome Aslı on stage.